yeah, I kind of like, give myself treats, right? Because I'm the one cooking, I'm the one doing all the stuff in the house. So I figured that, I need a treat. So I got lucky this Saturday when I went to the Indian grocery store and tried to replenish my Indian supplies with whatever it is that I could find in the store. And there was one thing that I have been craving for the last couple of months. And the sad part was before all the lockdowns and shutdowns, I didn't quite think about it. I was like, yeah, I'll do this tomorrow and stuff. And guess what? I couldn't because everything started like closing. We started panicking. Everyone's going crazy. So I totally forgot about it until we went, like knee deep into, I would say, feet deep, pajama deep into self isolation. And people started posting stuff on Instagram and social media on the most amazing Bombay, or I would say Indian treat called the pani puri. And every time I would watch a post, I'd be like, I can't eat that. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And then I was like, I don't have any of these little puris in my house. Oh crap, I'm going to have to make them. And then the laziness would take over, and I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Seriously, like, I'm just going to die in my own misery, for not being able to eat this treat ever again. And so on Saturday, when I went to the store, he had like he had like some 5 or 6 boxes of it. And usually I buy a tiny one, which has about maybe like 12 or like 10, yeah, 12 in a little box. And he only had one of those boxes, but he had like 2 trays, like big ones. And I said, you know what? I was so sad that I wasn't able to eat this. And it's just little things. And I have to tell you why this thing means so much to me, and why am I doing a post about it? Because it's like a totally special part of my childhood, things that make my heart happy. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to get those boxes. And one of these days I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy this treat. I thought I would do it that day, but it didn't happen. And, one day went into the other. So that was Saturday, then there was Sunday, then Monday, and then today's Tuesday. So I decided that instead of having a cup of tea like I usually do, or like, getting like a cookie or a snack or whatever I can find at home, I'm going to make myself some pani puri. So I found some boiled potatoes in my fridge. So I made like this little spice mix. And then the box of pani puris, like this little crunchy things, actually came with a spice mix. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to wing it today. I'm going to, just use what they have. Found a few spices, threw them in, and, lime juice and stuff, and did it. So what this is this is one of the most exciting and the most interesting street food in India. And you can find different versions of it in different parts of India. And it's famous, it's very famous in the streets of Mumbai, the city I come from. It's also very famous in the streets of Calcutta. It's the city of my birth. And then you have one version in the streets of Delhi. And if you go to Punjab, you have a version there. So pretty much there's like, and then, so they call it in different names. So in Delhi, in Delhi and in the north of India, they call it a golgappa. What is gol? Gol basically means circle, and gappa, I guess, maybe means bubble, I guess. So I don't know. So whoever's from Delhi, if you know how to correct me, definitely put a comment on this. And I don't know. I don't know if my comments are turned off for this, but let me check. I don't know. Maybe my comments are turned off for this. Or maybe you guys can just, go ahead and comment on this later. But you can go right ahead and watch, because that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, so Golgappa in Delhi. And in each location, the filling starts to change. So in Delhi, they have, I guess they put bundi or something. I don't know. So I'm not going to get into the details because I might, probably mess that up. I'll just go to the details of the things that matter the most to me. So today, I actually don't have the Bombay version. I have the, yeah, so in Bombay, where I come from, we make it, the filling is varies from different places. Sometimes you have the boiled potato filling, and sometimes you have a white pea, mix filling, which I also make. Sometimes when I usually make this into a big indulgent meal, so I'll make different kinds of fillings and then, use it. But today was not one of those days where I had planned it. So this was completely like on the spur. So I said, I'm going to make the Calcutta version, which is called puchka. So puchka basically means, puchka, I think the way that I look at it is the sound that this particular thing makes when it goes into your mouth. So it kind of goes like, it's kind of like, a deflating balloon, like, or a bubble just going like that. So I don't know. So I guess the puch spelling. Or it's like, ooh, and then, the little sensation that goes in your mouth when you put this thing in your mouth. So what it basically is this is, it's kind of like you could call it a cracker, which is in the shape of a bubble. And that's what it actually looks like. So as you can see, it's right there, like a little circle right there. And then you take it, and then you kind of you break it. You break like a hole right there. You crack like a little crater, put that right there, and then you fill this with this potato filling. So this potato filling is just a boiled potato with a little bit of chili powder and some coriander powder and cumin powder. And I like to add, and of course, a little bit of salt. And then I like to add like a little cilantro leaf just to give it a nice little color. And then, so you fill that up, and that's like all ready to go. So usually it's like an assembly line. You fill all these up. And then you have the spiced water, which comprises of a little bit of tamarind. So it's a little sour. Then I like to put a squeeze of lime, so it gives that little punch right there. And then it has salt. It has red pepper. I also put a little bit of green chili, so I actually grind it with a little bit of mint. And it comes with spice powders, which you can purchase, or you just make your own. And so I just dump the spice powder. The spice powder has pretty much like, everything that needs to be in a mix. But if you don't have the spice powder, all you basically need is a little bit of cumin powder, a little bit of red chili powder. Definitely you need the lime juice, and then you definitely need the tamarind. And yeah, the red chili. And then you just kind of like, you blend it, and then you can make like a little concentrate, and then you can just add water, and you can pretty much like temper it the way you want it. If it's too spicy, then you can add more water to it. If you want more spice or in heat, you can add some more heat. And there's different varieties of recipes that you'll find online. And then it's basically like this literally it's like water. So as you can see right there, it's like water. So the way you eat it now is, now that you filled up that little bubble with that thing, this is the fun part. And you have to be ready, okay? This is not something that, you can just get into without knowing what you're doing. So number one, of course, you need to have washed hands. Second thing is you always need a napkin, because this can get a little bit messy. And you have to be ready to eat with your hands. So this is not something that's like fancy that you can do with a fork and a knife. And you have to be ready to have funny faces. And it could be anything. So the experience can be anything you want to make it. So what you do is you just take this, you dunk it right in, and this is quick. You can't like, waste time with this, because when you dunk it in there, the puri's going to get soggy and everything's going to go fall apart, and it'll be a mess. And there's actually a story. You can actually do things with the messy stuff too. But right now we don't want to do it. So you have to make sure that you have something ready to dunk and put it in your mouth, because this goes really quickly. So you take that in, dunk, pull. Mmm. Let's see. All right, I'm done with all the nasty chewing. Yep. So it goes really quickly. So obviously you don't want to talk with your mouth full. So what you get is the liquidy tangy. So it's kind of like a bubble bursting in your mouth and everything going completely berserk. So you have the creaminess from the potato, and you have the spicy, you have the kick, you have the salty, you have the tangy. A lot of times people like putting some sweet sauce in it. Okay, that floats your boat. You can have that. But the way that me, my mom, my sister, and the rest of my family likes this is spicy. So the story goes all the way to back to the city of Calcutta, where I come from. And puchka is like a way of life. So it's like you hit the streets, and then, you feel like you want to have some puchka. So the puchka wala, who's the vendor, has like this big earthen pot filled with this liquid, which is chilled and made. Then he has like this big basket filled with these puris, like high that way. And then he has a plate of this. So then you basically have to stand in an assembly line. So you'll have to, so if there's a party of like 3 people who want to get it, so you have to tell him how many people are eating it. So he'll obviously do the count, and he has the calculation. So if you're a part of a group or a family that wants to eat together, you stand in the line, the guy just he gives you a plate, and he just keeps loading this, and he puts it, so everybody has to keep holding their plate out. And he'll make sure he does the count. He's pretty good at that. And you just keep popping everything, and then then he'll be like, of course, before you tell him, you need to tell him whether you want it spicy. So we used to tell it less spicy, because if you didn't tell him to not make it less spicy, what he would do is, basically put something that, basically burns your mouth and burns your insides. So you have to be very careful. So, but there's many versions of it that you can see, you can make, and this pretty much is, like my favorite. So there are times when my sister and I, when we get together, we make a whole meal out of this. And trust me, this is a big meal. You know why? Because you have this whole cups and cups of this liquid floating inside your stomach, and then you have all this stuff going on, and you'll just keep popping it one after the other. there's different fillings they put in it. So we have the potato filling. Sometimes you put the white pea filling. Some people put chickpeas in it. And then there is bean sprouts. You have the little bean or the lentil sprouts. Then there's this little really interesting thing called bundi that we put. Basically, it's garbanzo bean flour pearls. So it's basically garbanzo bean batter that's been, thrown into like a, what do you call that, a strainer. And then when you put the batter in the strainer, literally the batter falls down like little beads into the oil, and then it's fried up. So it's a really quick process, and we don't make that at my house. We just buy them. But that's not one of my favorite fillings because it gets a little soggy. So the city of Bombay, that's the kind of filling they have. You just brought me my laundry. Thank you. Oh, you're a nice boy today. Oh, I'm having my treat right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you may close the door. Thanks. Yeah, kids. So this is it pretty much. You just go, and this can be one of the most satisfying experiences in your life. You literally have to break something, fill, and eat. And off late, the last couple of years, I've been seeing all kinds of interesting versions of this. And I had an opportunity to have one of those interesting varieties of flavors in London when I was there in September. My sister actually found this really nice place in London. I think she said it was close to, I'm trying to think where it was. Was it close to Uxbridge? Yeah, somewhere I think near Uxbridge or something. I don't know. I have to ask her that. Where it's, there's literally like different varieties. I've even posted about it on my Facebook and my Instagram. And my sister even took a video of me putting that into my mouth in utter satisfaction. So they have different varieties and versions. There was like a lime flavor, and there was like a sweet flavor, and then there was like a hot and spicy, and then there's like a classic that's like regular and stuff. So there was like 5 different flavors. So we did like a sampler plate. We just kept trying different things, and then after that we were like, oh, we like this, a bit of that, a little bit of that. So we shared, and yeah, it was really strange that I've been missing that experience because I haven't been back to India since 2013. So that's like 7 years of not being able to go back home to experience this amazing thing. And yeah, so it was nice to go to London and have that. And yeah, so once everybody is out and about, this is definitely something that you should try. And yeah, my husband hates it though. In fact, I went down before I brought my plate upstairs. I was like, he's in the middle of a meeting, and usually I ask him, what do you want for your like evening tea and snacks? And he goes, yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee, I'll have a cup of tea. What about this? I said, I'm going to make some of that for myself. You want it? He goes, yeah, that's his face. So yeah, so that's how we do pani puri. So I just thought I would share this little bit of tidbit with you. Yesterday I did a post on bun maska, and then today it's pani puri. So yeah, I'm on this big nostalgia trip. So every day I try to find my sweet spot, try to channel back to a time and a place in my heart and my mind, which gives me and fills me up with a little bit of joy. And I hold on to that joy and really tight, because what that joy does is that feeling keeps me going, especially when things are not looking that great. So it's a nice little thought. And I'll be like, okay, look, you still have this. Try to be thankful. Take a deep breath. So tomorrow's the new moon. So there's different things that I have been planning and putting into practice in the last couple of weeks, which are all coming to fruition. And so tomorrow's new moon intentions will take a different turn from what I set up in the last new moon. So different things coming along. I hope I can share that with everybody. But yeah, so find things that spark this stuff sparks joy for me. This is my spark joy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of my snack, and I'm really thankful for people that tuned in. I hope everything is going well in your world. Everybody is safe, is healthy, and secure, happy any way that they can be where you are. And yeah, try to find little moments in your day that can spark some joy, because I know I go through my ups and downs, but these little things have been keeping me sane and centered the whole time. And yeah, food is like my medium. Food is my conduit. Food is my everything. So I communicate through food, and I speak through food. It's my language. It's the way I am. It's who I am all the way. And yeah, it's hard, and it's really hard to see the world going through complete pits right now. But we can eat. At least we have food on our table. That's what I keep there. Like, I'm thankful for that. But thank you very much for sharing with me this journey and this little trip. And oh yeah, there's another thing. Make sure you have a napkin, because the worst thing you can do is do little bit of that. Mm. Yeah, I did that once when I was, I think I might have been, I don't remember, 7 or 8, or maybe even older than that. Yeah, I might have been 11 years old or something. Not 11. I'm trying to think how old I was. I might have been 30. Yeah, well,